Hello, everybody, and welcome to Absolute Sim Racing for the next round of the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series here at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. I'm Edward May, and joining me in the commentary box for, well, the second time in 2 days is the wonderful Cameron Hawes. How are you doing, Cameron?
I am doing very well, thank you. I'm enjoying being here for this commentary. It's all of the races we've done over the past few days have been incredible races, and I can guarantee that this one is going to stick with that theme because every single time we come to the UK and Ireland Radicals, every single time there is an amazing race somewhere in the pack.
Yeah, it's a bit of a homecoming, isn't it, for the UK and Ireland Radicals? They've just last week were at Mosport in Canada. Well, they've come back to the United Kingdom, to Silverstone, home of British motorsport, and this is bound to be a cracker of a race meeting. Of course, though, this series would not be possible without the collaboration between this championship and its, well, sort of its charity partner, livelife.co.uk. You see the link in the description. A very good website, a very good business that helps out individuals, people who maybe over the past few weeks or whatever have been struggling with mental health. Of course, throughout lockdowns, that's been a real key aspect, is trying to get through and never being afraid as well to go out and get help. So if you are one of those people that has not been feeling too good over the past few weeks, over the past few months, then be sure to check them out. They're a very worthy cause indeed, Cameron. But of course, we will shift our attention now to the action on the racing circuit. And I think we can see some of the cars in qualifying now.
Yeah, some qualifying session is 6 minutes 40 in, so near enough, or pretty close to halfway now. We've got some very, very different faces up front, I'm going to say. Dan Webster leading at the moment with a 52.2. Just behind him is Simon Edwards with a 52.6. And just behind him is Frankie Dixon with a 52.77. And then P4, who we're watching now, is Paul Crabb with a 52.78. So everything is very, very close tonight. And I think it's going to be very fun and very fun to watch this battle between Frankie Dixon and Paul Crabb all night, as these are the two guys that you need to watch in this series.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very quick drivers here. And actually, just Cameron, from I don't know if you've had any experience at this circuit in real life. Obviously, you do race a lot in real life, but could you talk us through perhaps a lap of this Silverstone circuit?
I definitely could. Let's go on board with Dan Webster. Is Dan Webster out on track? He is absolutely perfect. We're going to run on board with Dan Webster coming across the line on the old start-finish straight, going into Abbey to start off with, taking a very, very quick right-hander there into the left-hander, then going into the first complex, as I call this. Very, very technical part of this circuit, and it is very difficult to get right, but if you get it right, you gain a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time. Coming onto the Hanger Straight, this isn't the Hanger Straight, coming onto, I have forgotten what straight this is. Coming into Brooklyn, what straight is that?
I'm not sure where we are, because for some reason my iRacing timing software is being a little bit buggy, so I'm not sure if we're on board with the same person or not here, Cameron. A little bit of a hiccup, I think, on our software end. Hopefully that'll sort itself out.
Oh, yeah, I am completely lost. Sorry, coming through Cops then. Coming through Cops into Maggots and Beckett's. Maggots and Beckett's is one of the quickest sections on this track. Flying through here. Right, I'd say right, to left, right, coming out of the exit on to Hanger Straight. This is Hanger Straight. Coming on to Hanger Straight, going down into Chapel. You're hitting Chapel at the highest speed that you ever can. Going into Stowe. Going into Stowe at the end of the straight. And onto the little short shoot into Vale and Clubs. Turn 8, 9 and 10. it should be. Coming into club and going around the right hander onto the international pit straight. And then let's do a proper lap. Let's do a proper lap run. So I always pull it off. But coming across the line.
Let's have a look, because what is going on? I'm not sure, for some reason I'm not seeing the same thing you are, Cameron. So make sure if you can to get it all up and running. Because for me, I'm on board with Charlie Bebb, which I don't think is the same driver you're on board with.
No, it was not. We'll try and get that sorted out before we do any more. On board with Frankie Dixon, coming through Vale and Club, coming onto the international pits straight. I don't know which finish line they're using. Are they using this one, or are they using the one just after Woodcote?
I believe they're using the one on the Hamilton Straight, so the same one that we saw on the Formula One race weekend. So it's basically, for all intents and purposes, the same circuit.
Okay, so there is going to be a lot of battles during this race then, definitely. There's going to be a lot of battles, as we saw in the Formula One. There's going to be a lot of battles going down that straight, and it's going to be an amazing race as it was for the Formula One, and as it usually is with the UK&I Radicals.
Yeah, often is, mate. So let's see if we've got this all working out. It was a little bit last minute trying to get everything up and running on the broadcast, but at least you can see which is on circuit. At the moment, there's several cars all together on the circuit trying to fight for track position coming into first corner, which is one of the things that drivers haven't been too used to, I think, is obviously this open format of qualifying, having 30 minutes, actually no, having 10 minutes rather, to get through.
Yeah, completely different format in qualifying this time. Obviously, with a 20-minute open session, you can set more laps, as we're on board with Simon Edwards, who I think is just about to start his first flying lap. But yeah, there's a lot more laps in a 20-minute open session, and they can set a lot more laps and push a lot harder on these races as he's just coming through club. Let's sit on board with Simon Edwards for a lap of this amazing circuit as we know it. Coming through turn 1, which is going to be Abbey, into Island, and then into Village. Very hard on the brakes into Village. Then through the loop, going around into the left-hander. Very, very long left-hander here. Very long hairpin. Then through Aintree, and you're flat through Aintree. You do not lift through Aintree. You're flat down the Wellington Straight, coming into Brooklands at a very high speed. Now, Brooklands is a very difficult corner to get right. You've got a lot of speed, and you need to turn in as early as you can on the brakes. Then going through Luffield, which is a long right-hander hairpin, and then into Woodcote onto the National Pit Straight. Oh, very nice camera angle there. Very, very nice sat on the curb as Simon Edwards is going through Woodcote now onto the National Pit Straight and about to hit Copse. Going into Copse, very, very quick, very, very, very quick corner on this circuit. Silverstone is an all-around very quick circuit. Going into Maggots and Beckett's, which is the left, right, left, and then left, right, and then the left through Chapel. So there's the left, there's the right, and here's the final left through Chapel. Very, very quick there from Simon Edwards. But don't think he's up on his best time, which is very surprising for Simon Edwards. It looks like he's going very, very quickly. Downhanger straight into Stowe. Coming around Stowe onto the Hamilton Straight. Going into Vale now. Into Vale with a left-hander. Very, very tight chicane here. Very, very good place to get moves done all the way through the race. And then into the right-hander of Club. And that is a full lap of the Silverstone circuit with Simon Edwards, who was 1.4 seconds off his fastest lap.
Ooh, so that's a little bit of action in qualifying here. But if the race is going to be anything close, then it'll be an absolute corker, won't it? Kind of like you said, battling up at the top end of this battle in the race. I'll have a look down the field as well, trying to see if there are any other drivers, Cameron, on fast-looking laps.
It doesn't look like it. Paul LeMay is going quite quick. He's set
Jamie Bird's just improved that sheet.
Yeah. Sorry, who was that? Jamie Bird, was it? Yeah,
Jamie Bird.
Jamie Bird has just improved, yeah, with a 53.7. Very good lap by Jamie Bird there. Jamie Bird is definitely one to watch this round. He is very quick around Silverstone. And, yeah, I've seen him be extremely fast. Extremely fast.
I think Richard Brown is coming through for a lap as well. But let's watch Frankie Dixon, fastest in, or a personal best in the 4th sector, but no improvement. Chris Bassett, purple in the middle sector, personal best in the 4th. I'll have to look to see Richard Brown as well, though, because Richard Brown, personal bests all around. So look, Chris Bassett coming through into the final corner. Richard Brown just ahead. So we'll see where does Richard go across the line. No improvement for Richard. I don't think that was around that time. Chris Bassett also stays 15th fastest. Only 2 thousandths though. That's the only amount of time he needs to claw back to Simon Maltby to get up at least one position. Might be able to make a few more, of course, by the end of qualifying. Have a look in the session just to see how long is left here. We've got 4 minutes, so around about a couple laps for these drivers.
Yeah, so John McHutchinson, though, I'm sorry, but John McHutchinson is slow this evening. He is usually very, very quick, but he's at the back. He's P20.
That is very strange. Yeah, a bit of an off-colour evening for John McHutchinson. Like he said, has been very strong at the early phase of the season. But I think he's a bit of a late arrival. You know, he hasn't been able to set any times in practice. And I think, actually, having a look, he's only just now connected into the server. So he's left it ever so late. I'm sure he's been able to put in a few lap times, obviously, before this evening. Probably some laps offline or in other hosted sessions that people have been putting up out and about. So we'll see if he's been able to use that time to great effect. No time in the race server, where obviously the track conditions will be as close as they can be to the real thing. So let's have a look here. Following at the moment with Chris Bassett.
Looks like Simon Edwards is going quicker.
Can go. Simon Edwards, yeah, like you mentioned, going very fast here. Up into Stowe, over the hill, and then back down again. A wonderful place to go trackside. If you haven't been to Silverstone, you can do plenty of action into that corner. And then, of course, the final section before you round the final corner and on to the newly christened Hamilton Straight. Is Simon Edwards going to put in a brilliant performance? Going to try and claw some time back? No, does not improve, does not claw time back to provisional pole sitter. There is, I think, enough time to get through this lap and one more. So Simon Edwards will have 2 more bites of the cherry to try and snatch P1.
Yeah, Simon Edwards definitely has a few more opportunities to get P1. And he's going to really, really want it against Dan Webster. Dan Webster is probably one of his main competitors in this series, as yeah, Dan Webster has gone quicker again. Dan Webster's at a 52.2. I think he's gone quicker. It's shown up that he's going quicker. Phil Glover as well. Phil Glover is on quite a quick lap here. He's just improved to a 55.0, and Dominic Lane Webb did a 53.53, but it was invalid, unfortunately.
Yeah, a shame. It's always annoying when you put in an absolute amazing lap time, but maybe into the final corner you just run that little bit too wide, which is easily done here.
Paul Crabb's gone to P2.
Paul Crabb goes P2, and Paul has been looking very quick recently, but not if he keeps doing that. Can do it over 1 lap, though, which is a real key. Now it's going to be all about stringing it together, because he won't be taking any further part in this qualifying session. No time to go through and set another lap time. Here we can see the Richard Brown, and just behind him, John McHutchinson.
So keep your eyes open
for John McHutchinson. Look at that. Full greens across the board there on the bottom of your screens. That means he's done personal bests. He'll come across the line with about 30 seconds to go. He's getting very close there. almost coming to blows with the number 3 of
P5.
Richard Brown, but he goes P5, maybe held up a little bit through the final corner, but he has a whole lap now in clear air. So this is John McHutchinson's best chance of pole position right at the end of the session. The most amount of rubber has been laid down on the circuit for him. So track conditions are at their very best, and John McHutchinson will need to be at his best to try and come through. You can see the checkered flag is out in qualifying. He'll be able to finish the lap he is currently on, because obviously he came across the line before the checkered flag was waved. So this is it for John McHutchinson. This is it as well for Simon Edwards, Frankie Dixon and Martin Booker. They all have this lap and no more in qualifying to try and improve, to try and dethrone Dan Webster from top spot. And it's looking like an all-right lap at the moment from John McHutchinson. I haven't seen too much that's ringing any alarm bells of him making any mistakes or anything. Just leaving a little bit of time on the board, but into this final sector is where you can really make the difference.
Yeah, definitely the final sector is where
Always
he's
run
off.
wide.
I think he ran wide and got a slowdown, unfortunately. So that's his lap over. Let's go on board with Frankie Dixon. Frankie Dixon is in the pits, actually. Paul Crabb's in the pits as well. Chris Bassett as well. Jamie Bird and Richard Brown. I don't think anybody else is on track. I think that's it.
No, I think there are a few other drivers just out on the circuit. Obviously, Richard Brown is one of them. We've seen good sectors from Richard Brown's, but not good lap times. It's very weird that he can be quick at certain areas of the track, but it's all about stringing those sectors together, which is the real difference maker. That's what separates, obviously, your Dan Websters and your Paul Crabbs from everyone else in the field. Is about stringing those times together. So we'll see Richard Brown across the line, but again, no improvement for the number 3, staying P19. But I tell you what, it's great to see so many drivers out on circuit. I think this is, maybe aside from the season opener, the most populated this server has been. So this series going from strength to strength, it's good to see more drivers getting involved in the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series.
Yeah, definitely. It's really good to see more drivers come into the series and challenge for wins. And I think that is the session over. I think Richard Brown and Phil Glover aren't going to be able to improve. But Richard Brown did set his fastest lap on that last lap.
Wasn't enough though, was it, to come through and not set a faster lap time? But it's no good if you don't improve your position. Speaking of positions, pole position going the way of Dan Webster with Paul Crabb alongside him. They make up the front row with Simon Edwards and Frank Dixon the second row of the group, not too far behind. And then we have Martin Booker in 5th. John McHutchinson came in late but still managed to get onto the third row. We know how good he is in race pace. Keep your eyes out for him in 6th place. Paul LeMay is 7th, ahead of Paul Clark, Daryl Taylor and Dominic Lang-Webb, who complete your top 10. Jamie Bird and Michael LeMay make up the 6th row of the grid, 11th and 12th respectively, ahead of Dave Kirkman 13th, Graham Brown 14th, 15th place sees Chris Bassett ahead of Simon Maltby, Martin Ward 17th, Phil Glover, Richard Brown, Christopher Kane, Tim Adcock, Dave Dowson and Stuart Matthews round out the grid for this evening, Cameron.
It's going to be an amazing race. There's some new drivers up at the front, and it's definitely going to be very, very close between the front runners. Very, very close. We're going to watch on with Paul Crabb on the start, because I think Paul Crabb, he has the perfect run into turn 1. He's on the inside, and if he can just nail that start, he's definitely going to be with a chance.
Yeah, I'm having a look at some drivers that do tend to get good starts. John McHutchinson is one of them, as well though is Simon Edwards, so keep your eyes out for him. Frankie Dixon, a relative newcomer, I believe. I don't remember seeing that livery. Only last time I saw it was obviously last week. So I think Frankie Dixon is relatively new to the series. And from what I saw, he was very strong. But the lights come on, Cameron. We go out to get underway.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing race. 4 lights, 5 lights. And the lights are out and away we go. Paul Crabb getting... Oh, very good start there by John McHutchinson at behind. John McHutchinson moving up to P4 before turn 1. Very, very good start. Paul Crabb just sitting behind there. Sitting behind Dan Webster, unfortunately. So he's not going to be able to get the move done, I don't think, into turn 2 or turn 3. Paul Crabb getting a very, very good start, though. staying ahead of Simon Edwards and Martin Booker, which was the main goal. And there's loads of straights around here, so the slipstream is going to be very key to this race. What a start by everyone, as we just see behind John McHutchison trying to go for a pass with Martin Booker. They're running side by side into Brooklands, and he thinks he gets them moved on. Just watch out behind though. Frankie Dixon is trying to get moved on Martin Booker as well, slotting it up the inside, nearly taking him out there.
Yeah, it's a little bit close there, but I think we've seen drivers get through relatively unscathed. I think I can see that Jamie Bird has been involved in an incident, falling down through the field is Jamie, so we'll try and see what on earth caused that incident. Jamie Bird doing very well for themselves up into the top half of the field, but the incident has seen them dropping back. One of the only real movers of the race has been John McHutchison, up 2 positions since the start. A very good drive from him. Got a good start. Was able to actually capitalise on a poor getaway off the line by Frankie Dixon. He was a sitting duck, and John McHutchison seized the opportunity and then was quickly on the offensive against Martin Booker. Obviously got the move done, like you said, on the run into Brooklands, and he's going to look to try and get another move made. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he doesn't at the moment. Slots back in behind. Doesn't want to do too much too quickly, because that's the time when you can get a few mistakes creeping in. As he clarts the curb there, really unsettles the car. Gets away with it though. No damage dealt. With the cars being so low down, so stiff, it is easy to pick up damage over those sausage curbs.
Yeah, sausage curbs are a real killer for these cars. You'll get damage just from hitting one a little bit too hard, as Simon Maltby enters the pit lane, unfortunately. So not a good start by Simon Maltby. We're just going to go back, hopefully, a little bit.
Oh, John McHutchison has made a mistake here. Sorry to cut you off here, but you ran far too deep and then into the loop. That left him vulnerable. Are we going to see Martin Booker around the outside? No, we don't. John McHutchison holds it off. Sorry to cut across you there, Cameron. For a moment, John McHutchison almost lost it there.
We're just going to watch the start again, as we're going to watch Michael LeMay, who has had an incident on the start, unfortunately. Michael LeMay going into Brooklands, and does he get tapped, or does he just spin it on cold tyres? On cold tyres, just spins it around. Jamie Bird as well. Jamie Bird has had an incident again into Brooklands, just behind. He has spun. Oh no, he didn't spin. Oh, he tagged. He tagged with, I think,
Richard Brown, was it?
Richard Brown, yeah, I think it was Richard Brown. And Christopher Kane has also had a little bit of a problem. He is off in the gravel trap, and he is doing pirouettes.
Yeah, sliding his way through the gravel, rallycross style. Oh dear. The car grips up, but there's still gravel on the tyres, so it makes it a very tricky experience when rejoining. And unfortunately, that was a little bit too much for Chris Kane there, but it's easily done. We've all done it on iRacing. It's a tricky little beast, obviously, the art of rejoining when your tyres are all hard, especially early on the race, where you want to try and get on the throttle earlier to sort of minimise your losses. Oh my word, what was that in the background? I think that was Dominic Lang-Webb and Martin Booker almost coming to blows there.
Martin Booker and John McHutchison did have a little battle as well. Oh, this is where he made the mistake. There's the mistake from John McHutchison. Martin Booker nearly going around the outside and not being able to hold it. So we saw that on the stream. And then Frankie Dixon has also passed Martin Booker. Frankie Dixon going into Maggots and Beckett's. Does he run it around the outside? He does. He holds it around the outside through Maggots. Amazing move by Frankie Dixon.
Yeah, good stuff there. It's not the easiest move to make around the outside, but he was committed, and that was the main difference maker, I think, is being committed, not backing out of the moves, and really asserting yourself on the circuit. And that is what we've seen John McHutchison do, especially in that early phase of the race. He asserted himself and got those positions done when he needed to, and now he's been able to close that time back in to Simon Edwards. So that battle is slowly but surely evolving. You can see the time coming down your left hand side of your screen, dropping down now to under 0.2 of a second. It's going to be under 1/10 of a second perhaps going into Copse. Is he looking for the move? Not quite. You can see the aero wash forces him to back out of it there. It's so difficult to follow close to these cars. But then we come to the best part of any racing circuit, Maggots, and then into Beckett's, and then rounding it out with a run through the Chapel curve down the hanger straight. John McHutchison about half a second back. You're going to see how strong the slipstream is. Will he be able for a chance down the hanger straight into Stowe? You can see the move coming down. You can see the gap slowly but surely decreasing, but it's not decreasing fast enough for John McHutchinson to really challenge Simon Edwards for that podium place.
No, I don't think he's going to be able to get him into Vale and Club. I think he's going to try and get him in the slipstream on Hanger Straight. He may be able to get him down Hamilton's though and into Abbey. Is he going to try and get the move done into Abbey or into the loop? He looks like he's having a look, but he's going to move back into the slipstream. Try and get the slipstream of Simon Edwards into the loop. Is he going to try? He's going to move to the inside on the brakes.
Oh.
What a move by John McHutchinson. Getting it stopped at the same time into the loop and then defending from Simon Edwards. What an absolute move by John McHutchinson. But don't count Simon Edwards out yet. Trying to go for the cutback there, but not getting the power down early enough. And Simon Edwards is going to follow John McHutchinson into Brooklands. Is Simon Edwards going to try and get that move done yet again into Brooklands? I don't think he is, because John McHutchinson is braking later in every single corner.
And it's about what I said earlier, the commitment through the corners is how you get the moves. And that's what we've seen from John McHutchinson. He was so committed on the brakes into Village. Got it stopped just about, obviously onto the left-hand side of the circuit. Was able to park his car in the most annoying spot to stop Simon Edwards from getting the run down the inside into the loop. And then just powering it out down through Aintree into Brooklands and Luffield. He was very strong. However, one thing to note, you can see the back of the car there. Little bit of damage there for John McHutchinson. I'm not sure where he picked that up. Might have been in an early lap scuffle. So we'll see if that's affecting him too much. Through the corners, you can see him starting to struggle. Simon Edwards is right with him, behind him. And as they come down onto the Hanger Straight into Stowe, Simon Edwards could be on for a bit of a move here. Pulling to the inside. John McHutchinson senses the presence of Simon Edwards and covers off the move nicely. But I think Simon Edwards is just so strong through the corners. Doesn't have too much in terms of straight line speed. But just look at how quickly he accelerates. Look at how much he closes down into Vale and Club. This battle is not over and done with yet. Just because John McHutchinson made the overtake, he's not been able to build the gap out. So that's allowing Simon Edwards to start to pile the pressure on and see if there's any cracks in the armour of John McHutchinson.
Yeah, he's just trying to find that little bit of a mistake that John McHutchinson is going to do. And he's going to try and get the move done somewhere soon. He's going to have to, because John McHutchinson is defending. We are going to move a little bit further back, though, as Michael LeMay and Jamie Bird look like they've had a little bit of a coming together. Michael May, we're on board with Michael LeMay here, going into Brooklands, and he's done the same thing he did again. And there was a crash in front as well. That must have been Jamie Bird.
That might have been...
Yeah, it was Jamie Bird, yeah.
Ooh. Jamie Bird down on the inside, trying to get on a bit, just too much into the corner there from Jamie Bird, making the mistake, and unfortunately that sees him having a bit of a nasty incident there. So I think they will obviously live to fight another day, carry on through a few more laps. Up a bit, actually no, a bit further back, I can see a close fight between Paul Clark and I believe Martin Booker. So we'll be able to see this unfolding just a little bit back from John McHutchinson. I think John's going to be safe for the moment, but on board now with Martin Booker. And he's going to get a brilliant run now. This is his chance to get the move done. You can see how close and how tight he was through Beckett's, allowing him to come to the power nice and early through Chapel. No understeer whatsoever, and that's given him a great run down the Hanger Straight. He's going to look to the inside, late into Stowe, wheel to wheel, door to door. And I think Paul Clark has just been able to hang on. And who's that off in the background? Darrell Taylor. Too much through Stowe. You can see a snap of oversteer on the exit. Sends him off to, obviously, exit stage right, unfortunately for Darrell there. Hope that isn't a collision into the wall as well, because damage on these cars can do a lot to harm your race chances. They're very sensitive to any sort of aero damage. And then I say that, of course, John McHutchinson's got a massive chunk out of his rear diffuser, but is going on strong at the moment in third place.
Simon Edwards has also gone fastest in Sector 3. Ooh, very, very interesting. As we think he's going to try and move on John McHutchinson at some point in the near future. It's going to be very interesting.
It'd have to be late, I think. You'd have to try and catch out John McHutchinson there, because he's looks like his setup, and you think he might have done, as we see a mistake there from John McCutcheon. Is that the rear end instability coming from that damage? You can see, of course, that the car isn't too pretty. When we see the back end of it, we can see it here coming into cops. There is definitely a bit of damage there, and that was probably what caused that rear end to sort of step out coming through Luffield. He managed to keep the position, but Simon Edwards, he knows now that John McCutcheon is very vulnerable, and not only that, he's taken a lot out of his tyres by sort of getting the rear end stepping out, scrubbing the rubber. Simon Edwards is very close now, 0.2 of a second, but for me, I think John McCutcheon just has higher top end speed based on his setup. You can see the slipstream is there, but it's not closing to the degree that we saw John McCutcheon closing. So I think Simon Edwards is going to have to send a really late lunge to get the position to stick.
Yeah, he's going to be really, really late on the brakes. He's got to be. It just has to happen, and it's going to be very interesting to see when he's going to make the move done, because John McCutcheon looks like he's running a little bit less downforce. So with less downforce, obviously the back end is sliding more, but with the damage, it's very difficult.
His best chance, I think, is being close, coming out of club, right up behind into Abbey, and then sending it down the inside into Village, which was how John McCutcheon made the move about 3 laps ago. So can Simon Edwards learn from this, and can he try and use John McCutcheon's old tricks against him? I've just seen as well, shift in position as Paul LeMay moves up into 8th place. Graham Brown is shuffled back into 9th, and I think Paul LeMay is on a charge because he's trying to close the gap now to Martin Booker. I think we have a replay of this here. This is actually Simon Edwards for... Sorry, this is it. This is Paul LeMay. But look at the speed he takes through Abbey. Immediately just passes by Graham Brown. Easy breezy stuff, and then he's got a nice and tasty fight up in front. Look at all of the cars dicing for position up in front. I think that's Lang Webb and Paul Clark getting close, and then obviously Martin Booker in the red and black car looks for a chance to make a position, but can't do it. Hopefully we can go back to live pictures, because I think these three or four are still as close as ever. You can see in the background the sea of orange behind Simon Edwards and John McCutcheon. So then we will have a look to Paul Clark, I believe, and just this massive train, isn't it, from 5th down into 9th.
It's a very, very big train, and if we go on board with Paul LeMay, and let's just think about what he's thinking at the moment. If we go on board with Paul, look at this. Look what he can see. He can
damage
see the
on Martin Booker.
Yeah, a little bit of damage on Martin Booker's rear left there, but he can see 3 radicals in front of him. And is he on pad? Is he on controller? Or is that his wheel force feedback?
Might be a bit of a strong force feedback on the wheel, perhaps. I'm not sure if that is wheel adjustments. I think that could just be a very strong force feedback there. But it's interesting, you can see these different intricacies of the thing being played out in how the wheel movements are laid out. Look at this, yeah, 5 cars all fighting for 5th position. Dominic Lang-Webb, head of this train. Look at Martin Booker closing down, a slight look down the inside into Village. You can see that the space is afforded to him actually by Paul Clark, because he's banking on having the inside line through the loop, and that helps him to retain the position. But a good strong run. They're going to try and go just about side by side through Aintree. A wheel off onto the grass from Martin Booker isn't going to help him whatsoever. And look at this, down the inside, Paul LeMay is going to... I thought he was going to send it, into Brooklands and Luffield, but thought better of it. And of course, you want to make sure you make the moves cleanly. If you get involved with an instance, if you pick up damage yourself, if you lose a position in trying to gain one, then it can really hamper your championship prospects. So drivers are trying to be committed, but also clean.
Yeah, clean is what you need in the radicals, because they do they're made out of tinfoil. They just break when you blow on them the wrong way. If you step on it, basically, if you drive over a pebble the wrong way, you'll puncture a tyre. They are very, very delicate, and you need to be very delicate whilst driving them.
I'm not sure if they're delicate enough to lose a wheel. We haven't seen any lost wheels yet, Cameron, so maybe you need to get out behind the wheel of one of these cars and see if you can do any better.
I have one. So I know that they're made. Oh, very big slide by Martin Booker. I have one of these, so I know they're very slidey. They're very difficult to drive, and Yeah, they are very fun and they have a lot of power, but when they slide, they're very difficult to catch.
And that's the interesting thought, actually. How do these cars sort of translate from the iRacing version to the one that you drive in real life? Because, of course, obviously people talk about how close simulators are to real life, but have you had any experience driving both of these two cars?
I have actually. I've done a league race in this car, and I've done IRL races in these cars, and they are extremely close. It's outstanding how close they made these cars to the real version. They slide. They're difficult to catch. They are very, 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 very loud, as you can hear. And they're just fun to drive. They're fun cars, and it's just pure driving. There's no more words than that. It's just pure. Right. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, who's that spun around? Is that Paul LeMay
spinning around? He just gets too eager on the throttle, coming through Luffield.
Here's the replay. Paul LeMay coming through Luffield, just spinning the car around. Unfortunately, yeah, too eager on the throttle. It's easy to do. I don't think Martin Bucker lifted at all. We're going to move back a little bit more though. Martina Ward and I think this is Chris Bassett as well having a little bit of an incident. Martina Ward going inside. Oh no, and yeah. Oh wow, big hit, big hit. Chris Bassett hitting her.
What Martina Ward did though was the smart thing to do. As soon as she lost the car, she slammed on the brakes, locked it all up, kept the trajectory predictable, which is what you're supposed to do. But obviously when the cars are following that closely behind, it's so difficult to avoid it. And again, Martina Ward,
she hasn't had a good race.
Gets it all looped around, not have a good race. But that's the damage, I think, just causing further damage. And I think that
she
car
got hit.
Looks like that definitely looks to me like suspension damage from the hit she picked up at Stowe.
I think. Oh yeah, that's definitely suspension damage, and then just gets. Yeah, definitely.
And it could well be a little bit of neck code because it looked like it went very suddenly, and there wasn't contact, but might have been a little bit of net code going on here. Here's a replay of Christopher Kane here, Cameron.
Yeah, he's got it all wrong again, hitting the curbs and spinning it around. Unfortunate for Chris Kane, but he was having a good race until then. Well, back on board with Martin Bucker, though.
Martin Bucker's dropped back, actually, from this fight, which is very strange to see what might have happened there. I can't see anything on my time set for it.
I think he just dropped time. I think he just got a little bit shaken up with
and that's probably obviously now that he doesn't have the slipstream cam, that's hurting him even more. He hasn't got the ability to hook up behind. Although what we can do is we can see other fights. I think Graham Brown is trying to close in.
Ooh, big crash in the background.
A top 10 spot.
Big crash in the background. That was Daryl Taylor. Daryl Taylor having a big accident in the background. We're going to go back to that and just see what happened. Daryl on board with Daryl Taylor at the moment. And I think he just gets on the curb and...
No, he's through fine. I think the accident happened behind
that's
Graham Brown. It was Daryl Taylor, like you rightly mentioned.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Going...
too much.
Yeah, too much power. Just spins it around. Unfortunate there for Daryl Taylor. But puts it straight back into first and keeps it going. That's one way to do a gearbox, isn't it?
Yeah, but contrary to Luther Van Dross, there is such thing as too much. You might think never too much, but there is when you go into a corner that deep into Luffield. If you don't understand that, Cam, then you're too young and you make me sad.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. I was born in 2004, and in 2004 you were listening to good music.
Dear.
So
2004. I'm commentating with someone born in 2004.
How old were you in 2004, mate?
I mean, granted, I was about 5, 6, depending on what day you're talking about in 2004, but still, it's slightly upsetting, if I'm going to be honest. That let's carry on anyway and focus on the action on track and not the crippling existential dread that's currently plaguing me at this very moment. And Graham Brown is trying to put the pressure on, trying to give Richard Brown some of his own worries. So it's Brown against Brown.
It's going to be a very good battle.
Yeah, is Richard going to come out on top? Will he be able to hold off Graham, the number 13? Unlucky for some, but he might find a little bit of fortune coming his way as other drivers have been a little bit unlucky and have made mistakes. He's relatively and keeping it nice and secure, nice and stable, just hitting his marks, which is what you need to do.
Yeah, just hit your marks all of the time.
Oh, and I've just noticed something, and I think we've missed this. John McCutcheon is... Actually, no, John McCutcheon has always been up in third place, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, yes.
I thought for a moment he got back ahead of
too wide into Maggots.
Oh, my word.
Too wide into Beckett's, and that's going to be a tag. That's going to be an incident. What was that noise? What noise did you just make? Coming in.
That was the noise of fear that I think was made by both Richard and Graham Brown going through that corner. That was terrifying.
That was the noise of the squeaky bum. Very, very close.
But it's not over yet, is it? Because look at this. Graham is right up there. Just you can see the attitude of his car. Nice, aggressive driving up behind, trying to get the most amount of speed coming through Stowe, and then obviously into Vale and Club. Going to start their second to last lap, and look at this. Graham gets a good run, but isn't able to capitalise on the acceleration through the corner. Gets the slipstream, however, and now this is it. Only 2 laps for these drivers to come through and try and take their 10th position finish, get into the top 10. You have to say Graham is looking very racy here. He tried to go side by side through Maggots and through Beckett's, but Richard Brown held firm, kept it close. There's a bit of a switch there from Graham, so you can see that the tyres are starting to lose their effectiveness. Either that or Graham is just trying to get on the throttle early, but maybe just a couple of meters too early.
Yeah, just getting on the front a little bit earlier can spin you around. We're going to have to go back a little bit, though, because Michael May, Chris Kane, is it Michael May, Tim Adcock, and Dave Dowson, I think it is.
Yeah, Adcock was very wide there. Sorry to jump in through Aintree. I was worried when he reached on there was going to be an incident between
What a
himself
move!
and LeMay.
Around the outside.
Keep it safe.
Wow, around the outside, getting the inside line there by Dave Dowson. Incredible move. Get about 5/10. We got to move though. Richard Brown.
There,
Richard
look
Brown
at
and
this.
Graham
These
Brown.
two are still fighting. It's the same corner as we saw last lap, side by side again. Richard Brown, Graham Brown, but Richard still keeps his car in front. So Graham's going to have to be wondering, what on earth do I have to do to get past this guy?
I mean, it's going to have to be a send on the brakes, isn't it? Because he's not getting past in the corners, and he's not getting past on the straights. It's going to be
obviously
interesting
close in down the straights, but I think he needs to pile the pressure on Richard and hope there's a mistake coming from the driver occupying the final top 10 position, as we have the white flag being waved for Dan Webster. We've missed a bit of Dan Webster up at the front of the field, but he's trying to go for another race victory to add to his already quite impressive tally. We'll keep on this fight.
John
though,
McCutcheon.
I think,
John McCutcheon.
yeah, there's battles going on everywhere, isn't there? John McCutcheon might lose out here to Simon Edwards. Simon is going to try and send it around the outside. Is he going to get it to stick? He's going to have to keep his car there, and then down the inside into Luffield, he will send it, but isn't able to get the move in the end, but powers out nicely from the corner, and now will try and close through into Cops. Meanwhile, Richard Brown has still been able to stay ahead of Graham, and those two were nose to tail coming into Abbey. So battles all across the circuit. We'll follow back from John McCutcheon for just a moment to see if he can keep the margin strong. Graham Brown, look at this, on board with the number 13 driver onto the final lap. He closes down into Cops, coming down through Woodcote now, and the run through the corner. He's always so strong through this corner. That opens up the moves into Maggots and Beckett's. He hooks the apex up nicely, and look at the run. Look at the speed from Graham Brown. He's going to make it side by side, but now the commitment has to be there. He can't do one or the other, and he chooses to back out and stay close behind. So coming out of Beckett's and Chapel, this is his chance to go through, but Dan Webster at the front of the field takes the race victory, swerves Thin Joy, another race victory added to his tally. Paul Crabb and John McCutcheon second and third. Graham Brown last lap, he's going to have to lunge it into Stowe. Oh, and there's a bit of a moment there as running wide. There's Richard Brown, so it's going to be wheel to wheel into the final couple of corners, Vale and Club. And is that a slowdown for the number 3? He's just about staying in front, though. Brilliant stuff.
Side by
He's
side.
wide, though, out of the corner,
had a
and Graham
slowdown.
Brown takes the place
He had a
on the
slowdown at the
final
end.
corner in the final lap. Graham Brown takes 10th position. Richard Brown, you could see him move down the inside, and he just, I think, was looking too much behind him, not in front of him. Too late, ran wide through the Stowe, up the hill, easily done. iRacing is very, very unforgiving with track limits at that corner. He picked up a slowdown, and that was
side by
unfortunately
side with Phil Glover and Martina Ward right at the
too
end.
wide, yeah. Martina Ward carrying damage, as is Phil Glover. Martina Ward, she hugs the inside line in an effort to stay in front, and I think she's done just enough to keep Phil Glover at bay. Yeah, there was looking like there could be a chance for a move, but a close finish. Sees Martina Ward 20th, Phil Glover 21st. As we see the 39 embedded in the wall, that was Jamie Bird. And we can see the full finishing order up on your screens here. So after the 7th round of this championship, we're officially past the halfway mark. Dan Webster takes another race victory. I think that could be his 4th or 5th of the season here, ahead of Paul Crabb. John McHutchinson adding another podium to his tally, and Simon Edwards coming through in 4th place. Just wasn't able to get past John McHutchinson in those closing stages. Dominic Lang-Webb did very well to resist the pressure from several drivers behind to secure a strong 5th finish. Paul Clark, though, in the 6th place, ahead of Martin Booker, Dave Kirkman, Paul Lemayan. In dramatic circumstances, Graham Brown takes top 10 finish there, ahead of Richard Brown on the final lap. Chris Bassett coming through for a 12th place finish, ahead of Darrell Taylor, Michael LeMay, Dave Dowson, Tim Adcock, Christopher Kane, and Jamie Bird there in 18th place. And we'll come down into 19th place, and we should see Simon Maltby ahead of Martina Ward and Phil Glover. Frankie Dixon, the 22nd, finishes 4 laps down from the field, and Stuart Mathers finishes 13 laps down. Unfortunately, I don't think made the start of the race, but that rounds out all of the classified finishing rundown, I believe. Do we not, Cameron, have some drivers coming in to have a word with you after the race? And shall we bring in Dan Webster, race victor, to have a word with Cameron Hawes?
Good evening, Dan. Can you hear us?
I hear you loud and clear.
How was that for you? And congratulations on your win. Talk us through what you were thinking throughout your race.
Yeah, thanks. That was a really tough race. I was absolutely flat out every single lap. Paul was super quick, and I knew if I made any mistake, he'd get me. So, yeah, really pleased with that.
It was a very, very good race. You were just pulling away, and as you said, if there was one little mistake, Paul Crabb was ready there to pick up the pieces. A very good performance by Paul Crabb and yourself. How many wins have you got? Because we were trying to figure out how many wins have you got in this series now?
4, I think, possibly.
4 out of 7. So
I think so, yeah.
You're not too bad then, are you?
No, this season's going all right for me, actually.
What were you thinking mid-race when Paul Crabb at one point was catching you through the gap? What were you thinking sort of mid-race when you saw that gap coming down?
I was trying to think of somebody to thank when you asked me who to give a shout out to. I couldn't think of anyone. Yeah, I came really close to getting a slowdown through Baggett's as well. I was cutting a lot of the corners to get the time, and I really thought I'd got one. But at that point, I'd have had to give Paul the lead. So yeah, it was close. It was very close.
Well, congratulations on your win, and I hope you have thought of someone you need to thank, because this is the point where I ask you.
I was actually gonna dedicate that win to Tiff Nadell, who was my driving hero when I was a kid. So all my driving skills I picked up from watching Top Gear as a young child.
It's not a bad idea, is it? Congratulations on your win, mate, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Brill, thanks very much.
And that was Dan Webster with his incredible race win. We're going to bring in Paul Crabb to talk to Edward May. Paul Crab.
Paul Crab,
Oh, hello.
welcome to the comms box. You can hear us loud and clear. Good stuff, mate. And congratulations on your second place finish. That was a pretty lonely race from you. You didn't have too much to worry about after the first lap, but just talk us through. You must be very pleased with the second place finish here.
I am very, very chuffed because I didn't do any practice until just before 7 o'clock. But I know the circuit well. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with it. Yeah, qualified well.
Yeah, and obviously you said coming in, that was very late getting involved with practice. And did that have an effect on your ability to make the setup, or did you just have one that works at most circuits that you just make a few tweaks to?
Now, I've got a very good friend, Dan Webster, who drops me the setup just before the race.
So that's why you're P1 and P2 from your magical mystery setup.
Yeah, but once we're racing, all bets are off.
Yeah, and what does that sort of do to you when you're obviously racing with a good friend of yours? Does that make it even more sort of a race you want to win?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've had some good scraps with Dan in the past, but he's just that bit quicker at the moment. I can't quite get close to him. So, yeah, I'm happy to be 2 seconds behind, to be honest. Yeah.
Maybe if you get maybe a few extra hours of practice, maybe not turning up at 7 o'clock on the day, you might be able to shave off that little bit of time where we can see you fighting up there close with Dan Webster, mate.
Yeah, if I'd put in consistent 52s, I would have got close to him. But I did get the feeling he was easing off a little bit towards the end.
But as well, let's talk us through qualifying, because it did seem like that lap time almost came out of nowhere. Really, you were doing very good times, but it was just, I think, was that lap where it all just sort of was strung together?
It did. It did. I mean, it was a little bit of a tour from Dan, but I wasn't quite close enough to him to get a decent tour. But I was, just desperately trying to catch him around that qualifying lap. So I think that just eked out that extra bit for me. So it was a little bit of tour, and I also got the lap really, really good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was great to hear from you. And great result as well, getting another podium place this series. And do you reckon you're going to be able to charge for a few more race victories come the end?
Oh, God knows. I'm always the bridesmaid at the moment.
Well, we'll see if you can get on that top step, mate. But before we say goodbye to you, is there anyone you want to give a shout out here on Absolute Sim Racing?
A shout out? Mr. Webster again for dropping me that setup. I mean, I would be nowhere without it, I think. So I can't ignore him. He's a gent for supplying that.
Definitely, very kind for him to be helping out the competition. His nearest rival as well at the moment. I think that's fair to call yourself that, Paul. Congratulations on your P2 finish, though, mate, and go and celebrate it.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Good evening.
So that was Paul Crab P2 coming in for a word, and we have, I think, just enough time, Cameron, for one more driver. So let's bring in John McHutchinson to have a word with Cameron Hawes.
Good evening, John. Can you hear us?
Hi, Cameron. I can hear you, but not sure if you can hear me.
Yep, I can definitely hear you, mate. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Good.
How was that race for you?
Well, a bit of a rush to get to qualify, and I think I managed one fast lap. That was it.
Yeah, we saw that. We wonder what was going on.
I was out, so I struggled to make it on a Thursday night for 9 o'clock now.
Okay, you did really well in qualifying, getting that P5, and then moving up. Moving up in the race, you did amazing.
Yeah, I think I got, was it Martin on the line?
Yeah,
then
you
I
did,
got
yeah.
Diamond on lap 4 or something, but I think he tapped me coming out of, can't remember the name of the corner, the lip maybe, so he gave me a bit of rear damage.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw the rear damage on the car, and we were wondering what had happened. It was definitely him tapping you then, was it?
Yeah, when I passed him at the loop, it looked accidental, so these things happen.
Yeah.
You know what the rear end's like.
Yeah. We were just saying, if you step on a pebble the wrong way in these things, then the whole car will snap in two, and it's made out of tinfoil. So we were watching everybody, and everybody pretty much had damage by the end of the race.
That's radical, that's what happens. I didn't know I had the damage until the end of the race.
Did you think you could catch Paul Crab with the damage that you had?
Well, I didn't know I had the damage, so I kept running wide at Cops, is it?
Yep.
And I kept getting an off track, and I was wondering why I wasn't doing that in practice. Same with turn one, I couldn't go flat through there. I thought it was maybe just the cold conditions, but it turns out I had damage. If I didn't have a damage, maybe I possibly could have given a race towards the end.
Yeah, you did really, really well. We're going to have to wrap it up now, but is there anybody that you want to thank?
Yeah, you guys for the podcast, and Chris Gain for all these behind the scenes works.
Yeah, we've got to thank Chris Kane. Chris Kane does amazing work in here, and it is amazing to see what he does and how he does these series. So he does amazing work. So everybody should thank Chris Kane for what he does.
Yes, and a shout to Dan Webster. His driving's really good these days. So congrats to him. I'll need to slow him down somehow.
Thank you for popping in, man. We'll hopefully see you in the next one.
Yeah, around. Thanks.
Bye bye. And that.
So with that, yeah, that is all the time we have, isn't it, Cameron? Unfortunately, I think this evening. Have you got any closing thoughts, though, mate?
That was an amazing race, as always. Just close battles all the way through, and I think some of these drivers are. They need to go into higher leagues. They need to be. They're so much quicker, and they should. This league is getting more competitive by the week, and these guys could definitely fight in some very, very, very big leagues.
Definitely. Well, all that's there from me is to thank everyone for watching this evening. If you have enjoyed, make sure to give the stream a like. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to Absolute Sim Racing for all of the upcoming races and leagues that we'll be broadcasting here in the future. And as well, thanks, of course, to Live Life. Please be sure to check them out in the description below. They're a fantastic charity doing a lot of great work. So, from me and Cameron, it's a goodbye. Take care and stay safe, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye bye, everyone.